Here's a visual overview of how AI works. A great starting point is actually the human brain. A lot of people think that the human brain is like a giant storage system where anytime you learn something new, it gets filed away so you can pull it out of your memory later. This is not a great metaphor for how the brain works. Here's a better metaphor. Instead of passively storing info, your brain actively builds a model of reality. For example, you're walking through a neighborhood and you see a house that you've never noticed before. Just like how you could build a physical model of that house, your brain constructs a mental model of that house in your memory. A mental model is built through connections. The strength of a mental model is found in the quantity and quality of those connections. So say this central node represents the new house that you just noticed, the new information that your brain just received. It creates meaning through connecting this new information to existing information that is already inside of your head. And without those connections, the new information has no meaning. So let's look at each of these hypothetical connections one at a time. So what you saw was a building. Not just any building, a specific type of building. It was a residence, it was a house. It also had a distinct roof and a set of various windows on the front side. Beyond its physical appearance, your brain also associated this house with the neighborhood that you were walking in when you noticed the house, as well as any other concepts that your brain might associate with the concept of a house. These might be things like family, mortgage, residence, shelter, home. That's how your brain constructs and assimilates new information. It builds connections with existing information in your head. And without creating those connections, new information is useless. In the same way that when you hear a word in a language that you do not speak, it has no meaning in your head because your brain cannot connect it to any existing concept that you already know. So your brain constructs mental models, and it has constructed countless mental models, massive constellations of meaning. That together, these constitute your worldview, the way that you understand reality to work. Your mind has mapped reality based on the inputs that you have received throughout your life. Everyone has done this. Everyone has their own separate, unique mental model based on their unique inputs and experiences throughout their lives. And side note, this is one of the reasons why it can be really hard to change someone's mind on specific topics, because you're not just asking them to add a few new nodes of information to their existing mental models. You might be unknowingly asking them to destroy entire models that they have already built in their heads and to radically rebuild them in new ways, which is neither simple nor easy. But here's the main question. What does this have to do with AI? AI, just like humans, have constructed massive models of reality. Specifically, they've created statistical models of language that describe reality. We'll look at that in a little bit more detail. So throughout your life, you have constructed your own mental models through various inputs, sensory inputs, for example, like sights and sounds, and cognitive inputs, like your own thoughts. And every day you are constantly updating and constructing and reconstructing your mental models based on new things that you learn and experience. Similarly, ChatGPT has also constructed a model of reality, but instead of using senses like sight and sound and taste, it uses language to construct its model of reality. Massive amounts of text in books and articles, blog posts, documents, files. ChatGPT belongs to a category of AI called LLMs, or large language models. Model because that's its defining feature. It has constructed a model of reality. Language because it has constructed that model from language, from massive amounts of text. And large is actually an understatement. How large is an LLM? ChatGPT 4, for example, was trained on 13 trillion tokens, which is the same as more than 100 million books. So say you're a fast reader and you read one book per week, it would take you 2 million years to consume the same amount of text that ChatGPT 4 has already consumed. So LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, each one has constructed a massive model of reality, which is why each of them are able to speak so fluently on such a wide range of topics. So this has actually just been part one, where we look at the concept of a model. Part two is where it gets really interesting, where we look under the hood at the structure of LLMs, how they work, how they think, how are they able to reason and understand different things.